Hi, this is Calvin Cox. It's September 12th, 2013. It's Thursday night, and it is 7:43 p.m. I might get interrupted during this talk. I hope not. Kathy's supposed to be bringing me the rest of my money for watching Mocha, the kitty cat, the crazy little kitty. And what I was going to talk about this evening, hold on a minute. What I was going to talk about this evening was reconfiguring matter. Now, this right here is like a little representation of a puzzle, not your standard jigsaw puzzle. I just quickly did a bunch of pieces, but right now I'm working on climate change, trying to come up with a solution to the puzzle. And there's a lot of pieces to it, and I really haven't seen any 3D, anything on the internet, a really good 3D interactive that shows Hadley cells on the upper section of the Hadley cells, you know, divided into sections, and the warm ocean water beneath, and all of the, you know, the jet stream and other. I mean, if you start reading about weather and getting into it, it's a huge study. It's no little thing. And whether, you know, on the TV they kind of dumb it down. Oh, you know, a front. They just say a front and leave it at that. I mean, what generates a front? What generates the things that generate a front? What generates that? And what generates that and that and that and that? Typically, you never hear about a lot of that stuff, and to find it, you got to really dig for it. But, you know, it'd be really nice if somebody would do a really good, you know, 3D model that shows all the interactions and start presenting it to people that way, because within that super accurate 3D model, you're going to begin to find the answers and the triggers that are really a lot of the things that are having to do with climate change. Okay. Yes, CO2 plays a part. You know, the fact that our cities, a lot of them aren't shaded in certain areas, that plays a part. Aircraft engines flying high up and burning fuel and soot in the upper atmosphere and releasing all that heat up there at various levels for the different aircraft, that plays a part. You know, not finding ways to shade the ocean with floating platforms, and that plays a part. Then there are submarine volcanoes. Volcanoes whose cones are below, the top of the cone is below the ocean surface, sometimes by thousands of miles. There's hundreds of, if not thousands of submarine volcanoes. I don't know how many of them are active, and I don't know how much heat each one puts out, and I don't know their displacement around the globe. I don't know if they're partially responsible for warming ocean water, possibly, that's helping to melt Antarctic a wee bit quicker. You need to take all these brains and create this massive 3D interactive model. You can see the whole thing explained from A to Z, beginning to end. So someone can mentally attack it, the whole thing. To find all this information in a body of written text and put it all together in your head mentally, good luck. I've been trying to attack that. It's too big. Einstein would have trouble with finding it in a body of information like that, of written information, and making sense of it. That's why it's important to make a 3D model, because for God's sake, you don't see anything like that. There's enough people working in the government receiving damn good paychecks. They could come up with something like that. How come it's always everything so fucking half-assed? You know, when you look at some things, you're like, come on, man, can't you do better? You know, I'm getting a little upset because you're not helping Joe Schmo. It could very well be that if someone puts together a 3D map like that, a visual, that, you know, discusses everything, you can click on it and see where that interacts, and it says it will feed into this, and you click here and then click there, and on and on and on. some Joe Schmo is going to finally get the one thing that triggers it all and begins to unwind the big ball of yarn that is the climate change puzzle that needs to be reversed. And you're not going to do it the way we're attacking the problem now. You'll never solve it quick enough to help anybody. And it's really frustrating, It's ridiculous. People who are going on the internet who are bothered enough, concerned enough to go on the internet, to look up information, to try and use their God-given mind to solve these problems for the benefit of humanity, everybody around them. It's a normal thing to do, to attack problems and solve them. You can't even get a current picture, once every day. There should be enough satellites flying around. You can get a current picture smack dab on the top of the North Pole that shows real-time ice coverage, year-round and seasonal. Okay, it's important to know that. It's important to get a real-time grasp on it, because that has to do with public inertia. If people could see that there's no year-round ice left at all, that might really get the public rather excited. And that might lead the public to force these bureaucrats to move your ass quick. That's why it's important to have a visual. Okay? It's important to have somebody. Google has enough bright minds working for them. They could create this massive 3D interactive model. People could look and understand and help, because somebody out there is smart enough to put it all together. But if you don't put the pieces in a way someone can, visually see it and quickly sift through it, you never get to the next step of how do you fix it. And that's where the problem lies, It's very frustrating. It's beyond frustrating. It's like everybody just wants to go have an ice cream cone and, well, fuck off the rest of the time. Maybe I'm being a dick. I don't think so. Okay? I know so. I spent too much time working on this problem to always run into roadblocks due to other people getting excited about it and moving the game to the next notch so it can get solved, so everybody can benefit and continue to eat and continue to have fresh water. Oy, it's crazy. Okay, we're going to move to something else. Reconfiguring matter. Okay? Reconfiguring matter does matter, because the reason is you can always learn something by trying to do something in another way, a new way, and perhaps by doing that prove that many of the things that you had thought were not actually as you had thought. And because of that, you learn new things. Scientists get to repostulate old theories or rework old theories, modify them, and make them fit more to actual outcomes. Now, this whole thing is based upon... I might have got myself too upset to lose the flavor of doing this at this time. I just might have. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and blow off, cool down, and I'm going to shut this viewing down, and then if I feel like it later, I'm going to open up and try and explain what I'm getting at here.